This video is brought to you by CyberSalt's Joomla training cohort. Learn to do Joomla the way CyberSalt does Joomla. And mysites.guru. Do you have a Joomla site? Of course you do. Get a free site audit at mysites.guru. We have here a Joomla 4 website that I've just migrated from Joomla 3 to Joomla 4 for a client. And along the way, I've discovered that the articles in this website are mostly all, if not all, have malware injected in them. And we can see an example of that. I've confirmed that this is malware because I checked with Phil Taylor from mysites.guru and he confirmed it. And of course, it looks pretty hanky here. But not being a programmer, I need to double check just in case. So first of all, my first step here was when I found this in one article, I wondered if where else the hack happened. So I decided that I would find something unique in this code that I could search for in the Joomla database. Now, so for instance, I could look for click in all the articles, but the word click might actually appear as something other than just in this script. It might actually be used in an article. So I want something really unique, and so I decided that I'm going to search for Meego, M-E-E-G-O. All right, so we're going to go to the control panel for this hosting account, and we're going to go to phpMyAdmin, which is a tool that lets us look in the database and also do some work in it if we want. We'll click on there. Now, fortunately, this client only has one database, so we don't need to go looking to see which one it is. You can find that information in the global configuration of your Joomla site or in the configuration.php file in the root folder of your Joomla site. What we're going to do, just to start out, let's look for Meego. We're going to go up to here and click on the database name first. Then we will go to search, and I'm going to search for Meego. Jumping the gun there. I'm going to search for Meego in the whole database. Now when we go down, we'll see, look, there's 90 matches in the content table, NRY 9K underscore content. That's the prefix of the database, and so it's the prefix using that table. 90 matches there, but just in case Meego is an extension or is used other places in the site as a term, I can look down. Sure, there's a couple in the Finder links. That's just from articles being found in the news search component in Joomla. And there's some activity of history of things that have been done. But we see here, Meego does not appear anywhere else. So here's another UCM history thing. It's not in the extensions. It doesn't occur in any of the others. So we can be pretty confident that that's everywhere that it is. Now, when we go to the content table here, we can click browse and we can see, oh look, yeah, here we go. Here is a list of all the articles in this Joomla site. And as we look, there's 90 altogether that are found here. We can actually click on the database name again and filter for content and look at content and see, oh, there really are only 91 rows in it. So 90 out of 91 have this in it. But I want to demonstrate how we can do some things with ChatGPT to really drill down on our searching. So for instance, we'll go back to articles and we'll notice that in this malware, it begins with a script and then it closes with a closing script down here, and Meego is in between. So let's just look for anywhere that the word Meego appears in between these script tags. And I'm not really great with coming up with SQL queries like that, but I'm going to use ChatGPT to do that. And then we will use some more ChatGPT to come up with a more advanced way to remove all of this from each article without having to open each article and go through and manually select everything. All right. To do that, first of all, we want to make sure that we know what version of database software that this is running, because if it's older version, as can often be the case, ChatGPT's first guess might actually give you something for something new. So we're going to go to System Information, which you find by going to System Information, and we can look here and we see the database version is 5.7.23.23. That's good for us to know And it's MySQL. All right. So we want to tell ChatGPT that that's the version of database that we're using, and then we're going to ask for some information. So let's use the simple example of that first of all. We'll open up ChatGPT, and we're going to say, first of all, need some SQL queries. The DB version I am using is MySQL, and I will paste in the code there and go like that. All right, so I told him what I'm using here. It's updated its memory right now. And so now I'm going to ask ChatGPT and tell them that I need an SQL query to find all records in the NRI NK underscore content table that have Migo appearing somewhere between script and closing script in either the intro text or full text field. Now, we hadn't looked at that. Intro text or full text field. Let's go back to our database here and go into content, that content table, and you'll see that in Joomla sites, the text of the article, in the core article, is either stored in the intro text field, which we see is the case here, but some sites actually have some code or all code in full text. It varies for different reasons. Depending on the age of site, previous versions where content was added in, lots of reasons. It's beyond the scope of what we're talking about now. But that's why I'm looking in the intro text or full text field. All right, so I'm going to go and back to ChatGPT, and that's what I'm asking for. And I'm going to get the code here, and it's going to give me something that I can run. And it's going to explain how that works. That's great. I don't need to explain. I'm just going to give it a try. I'm going to copy that code, and now we're going to go back to the database. Now, right off the bat here, before we do anything else in the database, we did some plain searching, and this next search is not going to hurt. But let's click and let's export the whole database. Now, if we're going to export the whole database, we could just, once we're viewing the whole list of everything, click export, and we could export everything. Quick display, minimal options, everything is selected. Even if we go to custom, everything down here is selected. And we could just go export, and it's going to export to a SQL file, and we'll just save it by name. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is that if we mess something up here and we want to re-import this export that we just did, you have to be careful that your export does not exceed the size of what your import is allowed. Let's say that we wrecked everything here and we went and we cleared all of the tables that we have. So this database is empty. We go back to import our export file, all right? And we go choose, but look here, the max here is 512 megabytes. That's pretty big, but I've seen hosts that have it as low as 50 megabytes. And up here we can see I just downloaded one that's 57.5 megabytes. So if the limit was 50 megabytes, I wouldn't be able to import it back in. And there's a whole other rigmarole that you have to do. So just watch out for that. The other way around that is to do this. Let's just go back to the database here, view the whole thing by clicking up here. And then we're going to filter for content. All right, now here we see content. Sometimes you have to go through page listings of these tables. So the first time you filter for content, it might not show up. But once you find it, all you have to do is just click the one table you want to back up and then go to the drop down here, and you're just going to go to export. You'll still use the simple method, but look, none of the tables are selected except for the one that we just had selected, which is great. We'll export it, but I'm going to give this a different name here. I'm going to call it content table only. Doesn't matter. You just have to remember what this is in case you're going to go and restore it if you make a mistake. So you would, if we made a mistake with this or messed up something, we would just delete that one table and then we would import it using that same tool. But there you go. We've got our backup. So now why don't we try our SQL? And it was this one right here. And let's click and we'll go. And it's like, oh, look, we've got a little error here. And we can see here where the error is here. somewhere in line 5. So I'm going to just select this whole error. No, just the error at the bottom. And we're going to go to ChatGPT and we're going to say, I got this error. And we'll paste it. The reason I'm leaving this in is because this is pretty much the way it goes sometimes when using ChatGPT. And it's going to probably offer me something else to try. And that's what it's doing here. Full text is a reserved keyword in MySQL. Well, why didn't you tell me in the first place? Whatever. So what we will do is they've changed it, and we'll copy it. And we'll try that one. Control A, Control V, and we will click Go. And now, look at that. It's showing us the first 24 rows. It found that in 90 in between. So it found MeGo in between the opening script code and the closing script tag 90 times. And that's good. All right, so let's go back to ChatGPT because, well, first, what we want now is we want to remove this malware, all of it, wherever it is found in those articles in the intro text or full text field. Now, instead of having SQL search for this whole code, coming up with that, that would be probably incredibly complex. We're going to use the logic that we were just using. And this is what we're going to ask for of ChatGPT. I need an SQL query to find all records in the enter95_content table that have MeGo appearing somewhere between script and script in either the intro text or full text field, and then remove the script containing MeGo. Let's change that the entire. All right, let's see how that works. I've worked on a couple of wordings for this, and it's been awkward each time, so we're just going to try it. And we get this result. Now it says I need to do this in 2 steps. Here's one script to run and another script to run. But you know what? I'm lazy, so I'm going to say combine both into one script. I just want to do this once. All right, here it is. Everything combined together. Great. I'm going to copy this. We will go back to the database. We'll go back to make sure that we're not just viewing content here. We want to view the whole database. We go to SQL, and now I'm going to paste this query in there and go. And say, oh, we got a mistake here. Control A. Whoops. I'm going to say MySQL. I'm going to copy this. And we will go back into ChatGPT and say, I got this error. And it's going to say, oh, it's not available in MySQL 5.7. So it's going to give me an alternative. Now, unfortunately, ChatGPT forgot that I told it that it was using 5.7. Anyways, all right, let's go copy. Again, leaving this in so we can see what it's like. We're in ChatGPT. Select all. We'll paste that and we'll go. And this time it ran. Oh, now look. 0 to 24 of 87 total. So 3, for some reason, did not work. All right. Well, let's go back to this article here. I'm going to refresh. If I save, it would save this back into it. Now watch. If I refresh, it's going to say, it's going to let me go to the article, reopen it, and look at that. It's gone. That has been removed. And we know from here it's been removed from 87. Oh, well, back to the drawing board for the last 2. That's only 3, so let's just go and see here. Let's go to search. Oh, we'll go to the, yes, we'll go to the whole database. I just find this so much easier. Search, MEEGO. We're just going to search for that because we know that it exists only in the infected files. We go, there's 3 in the content, and for some reason, these 3 articles still have it. So what I'm going to do now, because there's only 3 left, I could play around and look for whatever is the unique thing I need to search for to fix here, but I'm going to just manually fix these. Watch this. ID 36, okay, this is article 36. I'll go back to the article manager here, and I'm going to search for ID, ID colon 36. All right, and then I'm going to open that article, and look, oh, there's the script right there, and it looks kind of different. Maybe it's a different version, but that's okay. I'm just going to select that manually and hit backspace and backspace. We got rid of it and save. And now, just to be safe, I'm going to go back up to search here, and I'm going to search for script. All right. Whoops, the closing tag, closing for script. I'm going to search everywhere it appears in the database. I only really want to look in the content, though. I could search right in the content table, but I'll just do the whole thing here. Go, and we go down. There's content. It only occurs 3 more times. Now, I just fixed that closing script. I just fixed it in ID 1. So we got 61, 93, 94. So look at that. If we go into ID 61, it is in here. I guess I'm just going to change this everywhere. All right. We'll take that out. Save and close. The next one, ID 93. Okay, there is no 93. And, oh, that's because that's an old article called Tim Test. Oh, and its state is -2. I had that test in the trash. All right, so it's not there published. Watch, if we go here and go filter options, and we go to select status and trashed, you'll see, I had that trash when I was playing around. It does have that in there. So that's all right. We're going to empty the trash. Good to know. And then we'll go back to here. And 94 is the last one. We'll search for ID 94. It is also trash. There's another one that has been put in the trash and has been sitting there for a while. That's why that showed up. Anyways, all right. Well, we empty the trash. We go back here. And now I'm going to search up here again in the whole database for script. And we will go. And when we go down to content, there's no scripts left in there. Now, all right, so that was a little bit messy towards the end. But again, my intention to do this on video is not just show the quick steps, but to show some of the things you might run into in using this, in trying to get some malware out of articles in Joomla. And also, I had to be very careful because I knew that each article, the only time that script occurred in the articles was because of this malware. If the client had other scripts in there, let's say like for a clock or a script to change some CSS or something, and the script tag was used, we want to be very careful not to be moving that out. But in this case, the only script in there was actually malware. I hope watching that wasn't too painful for you. Obviously, I'm still learning. And if you're still learning and something in there was helpful, then I'm glad. Subscribe for more videos. Until next time, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.